Great. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Everyone. Now, this is a Create Your Own Light workshop. I would like to let you know that I appreciate everybody for coming. Is to commemorate my book that I've also wrote called Creating Your Own Light, a proven strategy to starting and thriving in business. I want to get right down to it. Who is it not for? Next slide, please. Who's it not for? It is not for anybody that think that this is a get-rich-quick scheme. I do not teach you any MLMs. I do not teach you a specific genre or job that you should go into. What I specify in is policies, processes, and procedures. The reason being because it is transferable. These are things that you will need in any business that you are in. If you think that you're going to come here and 2 days later make $100,000, it doesn't happen that way. It does happen that way to some people that have high value skills. What is that? That is skills that are very scalable and very high demand. Now, you see on YouTube, you see on Facebook, you see on a lot of these social media sites where these people are making 6 figures plus every year. Some of them are doing it every month. It's because they've realized how to monetize their high value skill. It's not an overnight success. It's hard work. And one thing about it is, if you start your business as an entrepreneur, a lot of you are going to be starting out as solopreneurs, which means that you're going to be wearing every facet, every hat inside that business. When you start out, you will work more in that business than you would at a 9-to-5 job. That is a fact. You don't think you would, but you are, especially in the beginning. Creating Your Own Light, a proven strategy of starting and thriving in business. My book, it goes into deeper context of the topics that I'm going to cover here today. I also have ebooks that they're free if you need them. Productivity, time management, journals. Just shoot me a message on Facebook, and I'll get back with you. My goal, next slide, please. My goal for these talks, because this is just the first of many, is to add value to your life by helping you create your own light, your own way. And what do I mean when I say that? That means that I can take a person that do not think that they could monetize a skill that they could do on the side to help them create their own light, their own way. I can take you from not knowing what you know how to do. When a skill is anything that you've actually been paid for. So that's all the jobs that you've did. Your hobbies are things that you sometimes do on the side that you know how to do, but you only get paid for every now and then. Your passion is something that you would like to do, but you haven't been paid for yet. So I can take your skills, your hobbies, and your passions and show you how to monetize that on the side as a beginner. Second step, I can take anybody that has already started a business that's making at least $5 million or less and implement systems, processes, policies, and procedures to get you organized, to show you your ROI can actually grow when you're organized. I help you with your HR. I can help you with, like I said, your systems. I can take you what you're doing, whatever market it is. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. We take what you do and turn that into systems. The reason being, you need that for one, you need that for your exit. If you have a business and you want to sell that later on, if you do not have system processes and procedures in place, your exit number will not be as high because you have a business built around you and not a business built around systems. Instead of you working in your business, you need to be working on your business. It's a difference. I take everything that I've learned over 10 years. I've been out here over 10 years on this entrepreneur path. I take the college education, my labor jobs, my corporate jobs, my real life experiences with my own money in the game, and give you the knowledge that I've gotten over these years and put it in a package that could help you alleviate a lot of the pitfalls that I did in my life to show you that you can reach a lot further than what I have reached in a lot shorter time than it took me. It shouldn't take you 10 years. In this world, it's a lot of talk about inequality. And inequality is real. I want people to know that. Racial inequality is real. Financial inequality is real. And knowledge inequality is real. This is a real fact. Example. If you're going to a public school, I'm 39 years old. I remember when I was a kid and we used to have check classes, financial classes in school. I went to Chisholm Elementary. I remember them bringing in paper and showing us how to do debits and credits when I was in school. Nowadays, you're not getting financial literacy and like that at an early age if you're not going to a private school. And with private school comes private money. That's where the knowledge gap is happening. That's where the racial, when they say racial inequality, it's not just race, it's anybody that is under a certain living standard. The urban communities. But I do believe that instead of us complaining about the situation that we are in, we need to do something about it. We need to do something about it. Next slide. Who am I? My name is Levy. I talk to young and old entrepreneurs, and I warn them of the pitfalls of entrepreneurship, and I try to help them avoid it. Like I said, I've been out here over a decade now, but that doesn't mean that you should go out and quit your 9-to-5 job and just go and try to jump off into a business if you don't have a plan. If you're not planning, you're planning to fail. You just thinking that you're just going to quit your 9-to-5 job, jump off into a business, and everything is going to be okay. It's not. You also have to remember, FPL, Florida Power and Light, cares nothing about your dreams. They want their money. So you have to have a plan. I believe in a 9-to-5 job. As an entrepreneur, I'm a third-generation entrepreneur. Matter of fact, see, this word entrepreneur is really coming hold these days. It's a fad. Everybody wants to think that being an entrepreneur is a sexy word, you know? Everybody wants to do it now, but they don't know exactly how to do it or the way to go about it. I want to show you that you have transferable skills. If you want to fix your situation, you have to first start fixing things about you, because success it's not a hidden taboo. There's certain characteristics. of any successful business, any successful person. It doesn't matter your race, color, or creed. There are certain characteristics that you will need to be successful, but you have to define success for yourself, because you can't live through the success of somebody else, because you're not going to be happy. Because at the end of the day, creating your own light, your own way, is for you to be happy with what you want, what you think success should be. I can't stress this enough. If you want to change your financial situation, you're going to have to change certain things about yourself. You're going to have to build skills. There is something called compounding your skills. You need to start, if you don't think you have a skill, get a skill. Period. If you don't have a skill, you're not going to get out of the situation that you are in. And let me tell you, everyone has a skill. You just have to believe in yourself and know how to bring that skill out of you. Next slide, please. There's plenty of jobs, right? If you can go out right now into these streets and ride around, you will see everyone is hiring, but nobody wants to work. I'll tell you why. Like I said, I'm 39 years old. The thought shift is shifting. That's one thing about being successful. You have to be pivotable. You have to be able to move with the climate. When I say kids these days, I mean people that's younger than me. I'm 39. So these kids these days don't want to work for anyone. They want to work for themselves, which that's what they need to do. I totally agree with that. I feel like you need to you need to know what your value is. I do feel like you need to work for yourself. And I want to say this, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a financial consultant, and the things that I say is of my own, is of me, and not indicative of the place that I'm speaking in today. So if you have any smoke, please send it to me, levytroop@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Facebook, please. I want all the smoke. I've analyzed a lot of companies and business women, businessmen, and realized, there's a lot of misconception about being successful and wanting to work. People, they want to work. They just don't want to work for you. They want to work for themselves. So if you want to work for yourself, make sure you have a plan to start out on a good foot. You see, I have started and failed at many businesses. I mean, ran them to the ground and lost a lot of money. So if I can help you avoid, one, losing a lot of money, two, not having that actual stress upon you, that's the goal. That's my whole goal. I want to add value into the things that they don't talk about. Everybody sees that, yeah, I don't want to work. If I work for myself, I'll be able to get more money. I'll be able to go get that vacation. I'll be able to go get that lamb truck. I'll be able to go get that Givenchy. If you want that, I want to add value to show you the little things in between to get that. Because I do feel that everybody should get everything that they want. And believe me, if you want something, you can get it if you have a plan. I want to share with you the knowledge that I've accumulated over this decade to really propel you further than me, to really set you out on a better foot. See, creating your own light really shows you exactly some of your faults. In order for us to really create our own light, you're really going to have to focus on some uncomfortable truths about yourself. That is true. For one, Levy wasn't consistent. I wasn't consistent. You need consistency in business. When you start your business will be an extension of you. If you're lazy, if you don't show the work on time, if you aren't going to get, you're not going to get to your job on time. You're not going to get to do what you really, let me rephrase that because maybe that's not nice. You're not lazy, but I do feel that if I'm not going to say that. I'm going to backtrack that. But I feel that you're not lazy, but if you're not consistent, you're not going to be consistent in your business. Let's just be honest with you. You know, you're just going to have to really face some uncomfortable truths about yourself in order for you to succeed in business. Next slide, please. When I first started on this journey, I did not have a plan. It was like driving a car, not knowing where you're going. It was about driving a car, not knowing where you're going. Like I said before, if you're not planning, you are planning to fail. And with a proper plan, anything, I do mean this, that's why I have to reiterate this, anything is possible. I wrote a book. I was telling someone I was going to write a book 2-3 years ago. They looked at me like I was crazy. You can't do that. You don't know what you're doing. But guess what? I have one. It's on Amazon. It's here for sale. Never let anyone tell you what you can't do. You have the ability to do anything that you want to do. And when I was talking about the transferable skills, the compounding skills, just that journey alone of me writing a book, going through that whole process, the procedure, the system of writing a book is a skill that I can now share with other people to let them see the light of, oh yeah, I can write a book too. I know somebody that did. Let me talk to Levy. He'll show you how to write a book. I can't show you how to write a bestseller yet, but that's to come. Next slide, please. And I take these skills that I've accumulated and instead of it being on a one-on-one basis, because I used to take everybody that used to work with me, I always say people work with me, not for me, because it was kind of counterintuitive to my business, because everybody that has always worked with me, I've always tried to show them, hey, this is what you do. This is how you do it. Why don't you come out here and try to do it for yourself so you can actually make some money for yourself? So I take it from a one-on-one perspective, and now it's on a one-on-many perspective. What will we cover in this? It's basically broke down to 3 parts. One, I have to talk about the cliche first. It's the mindset, because nothing starts. You cannot progress without the right mindset. 2, I'm gonna talk about the outline of a business plan, because without a business plan, like I said, you're planning to fail. Thinking you're just gonna jump off in here and you haven't planned out anything, you're gonna run into you can stumble your way through it, but why stumble your way through it? Why go through the headache? Why go through all of that when you actually can have a plan? And when you have a plan, when these things actually arise, when troubles actually arise, you are better equipped to adapt. We're going to talk about the business structures, DBA, LLC. What do you need? What type of business structure do you need? We might get into the policies, procedures, processes, and systems. I've been talking about that. I'm going to introduce you into a project management term called the triple constraints. Triple constraints, cost, time. We're going to get into those three. And then I'm going to end with something I like to call the triple triad. Next slide, please. I want to get into something I like to call expectations versus reality. Next slide. Thank you. Now, the expectation that everyone is going to start a business tomorrow, 10 years down the road, they balling. They in the lamb truck. They got the vacation. They got the 6,000 square foot house. They doing good. They putting their kids through college. But let me tell you the reality. Let me tell you the reality of the situation. Out of 10 businesses that start tomorrow, in 2 years, at least 4 of you will not be there. That is a fact. Out of the 4 that's left, in 5 years, 2 more of you will not be there. That is a fact. National Bureau, Business, Labor, and Statistics. Look it up. That means you have 2 left, and 1 of you is only going to make it to 10 years. I want to create more ones. Like I said, I've been out here over a decade. I'm one of the many. But it's not easy. So out of the 10 that's here, 10 years from now that has started, only 1 of you, statistically, will make it past 10 years. Let's create some more ones out here, guys. Next slide, please. Let's talk about our mindset. There's something, we need to stop trading our time for money. At a 9-to-5 job, because I deal with up-and-coming entrepreneurs, newer entrepreneurs, you have to get out of the mindset of trading your time for money. At a 9-to-5 job, whether you get done with your work or you don't, you get paid for your time, whatever you're doing, whether you get done with it or not. If you're not done with it, you can pick it up again tomorrow, start over again, you get the same hourly wage. As an entrepreneur, you don't trade your time for money. You trade your time for what you produce. So, if you trade your time for what you produce, like I said before, if you lazy, you ain't producing nothing, you're not going to make no money, period. If you're not consistent with work, you're not going to consistently get work, period. We need to fix that. For the people that said they never have any time, I'm going to show you how you can fix that right now. For the people that says they never have any time, I want you to get you a journal. I have a journal in my ebook that was free. I'll send it to you. All you have to do is send me an email, contact me. It's a productivity and a time management ebook. Like I said, it's a journal inside of those. You can pick those up. But you get you a journal. And in that journal, you write down on the hour, every hour, what you did in that hour. I promise you, If you do that for 3 months, you will know exactly where your time is. You will know where your time is going. You will know what you are doing. But that comes with its own set of issues, you see. Because a lot of people don't have that type of dedication. Everybody wants the easy road. It takes dedication. It takes consistency. It takes, like I said, certain characteristics for you to change your situation, for you to be successful. You get that journal and you write down every hour, on the hour, what you were doing, and I guarantee you by the 3rd month, you would have started having a different mindset, a different shift. You'll start thinking in your mind every time, well, I really wasn't productive this hour. Maybe I should do something else. And remember, just because you're busy doesn't mean you're productive. I just want to let you know that. We have to stop thinking that everyone is against us, like the world owes us something. Let me explain something to you. The world owes us nothing. It owes us nothing. We have to get out our own way a lot of times, because a lot of times we are stifling our own blessings. We are stifling our own growth as people. The world doesn't owe us anything. Stop complaining. Get off your butt. Let's get something done. Because complaining is not going to change the situation that you are in. I'm sorry. It's not going to help you. You need to make a plan and set some goals so we can start planning to get out of our own way. And like I said, that's one of the biggest things that people tell me, man, I want to do such and such, but I just ain't got no time. Like I said, get you a journal, write down in that journal. I promise you, it's the small incremental changes that has ripple effects down the road that you can't even see yet, that grows. You start every hour. You'll start seeing that you'll mentally start thinking about what you're doing without you even thinking about it. We need to stop making excuses, people. We need to stop making excuses. The second biggest objection that I get, people will tell me, well, I want to start a business, or I want to start doing this, but I don't know how. You don't know how? Let me tell you something. That phone that you have in your pocket, you have more knowledge in your hand than the President of the United States did in the 90s when I was coming up in school, and that is a fact. So that excuse, you're saying that you don't know how? No. You just don't want to know. Because the knowledge, we have enough knowledge in our pockets and our phones today to know anything. It is books, it is YouTube, it is Google, it is the free. This information age makes it so much easier for people to really grasp the knowledge. But it comes back to what I like to call the triple triad: knowledge, speed, cost. It'll come together at the end. Next slide. I want to do an exercise. I want to do an exercise with you guys. I want to show you something. I want everybody to write down on a piece of paper how much they want to make a year. Could we get... I'm gonna step down because I need to write on the board. I want you to write down a number. And this is for your growth mindset because we think too small sometimes. And when you get home or if you're home, I want you to dive even deeper into it because I really want you to get everything that you want. I want you to have everything that you want. Whatever you want, I want you to write that number down and add all of that stuff up because I really want you to see. Now, whatever number that is, I'm going to give you some time. And don't if you come and you say, "Oh, I just want to make $50,000 a year," stop playing. Stop playing. Don't be real with yourself. You're not living. And that's one of the problems. We think too small. We think too small. We always think something is not going to work. We always thinking that somebody's against us. Let me tell you something. If you cut hair, if you are a barber, if you ride through this city right now, how many barber shops do you see? Plenty. How many hair salons do you see? Plenty. So the fact that it's not going to work, don't tell me that. I want you to really write down your number. I don't care if it's $1 million, 500,000, 100K, I don't care. Write it down because we have to start getting this information out of our head. That is one of our problems. Everybody always want to start something, but they don't want to put anything on paper. When you start putting things on paper, you can really start having some measurable goals. You thinking about it isn't going to get anywhere. Let's do it. I'm not good at math. Never have been. I'm not a good speller either, but I know that for myself. So what do? I make sure that I keep a calculator and a spell checker and someone that can look over my stuff. You have to know yourself. When you create in your own light, you have to know these things. It will help you. So, whatever that number is, it looks gigantic. I need somebody with a calculator to help me, please. Somebody give me a number. Give me their number. Somebody give me their number. You said what? 150,000. Great. So you want to make 150,000 a year. Take that number, divide it by 12. This changed my life at a seminar that I took 7 years ago. Divide that number by 12. 1,500. 12,500. Cool. That's how much you need to make every month. Divide that by 4. Sorry about my handwriting. It's horrible. I know. 3,000. How much? 125. Great. Now divide that by 5. The reason why I say 5 and not 7, there's a reason. 625. Okay. 625. Now, this 100K mark, that 150,000, it seems like a lot of money when you look at it. It seems like a whole lot of money, but it's not. When you actually start breaking those big goals down into smaller bite-sized chunks, it's a lot easier to digest. So we know now that you want to make $150,000 a year. To do that, it's going to take you to make $12,500 a month. You got to make $3,125 a week. You have to make $625 a day for you to reach that $150,000 goal. Now, whatever product or service that you are doing, you're selling, or the labor that you're putting out needs to make you $625 a day for you to make $150,000 a year. Whatever that entails, whether you're cutting hair, whether you're doing nails, whether you're taking pictures, whether you're doing yards, whether you fixing computers, it doesn't matter. Whatever your product or service is, needs to make you at least $625 a day, and you could reach $150,000 a year. You do not have to always try to get the big bag every single time. It's incremental changes that has ripple effects that can affect your bottom line without you even realizing it. It's the little things. It's the little things. And when you get home, when you're home, I really want you to write down that house, that car, those vacations, how many you want to take a month. I want you to write all of that information down, because that's how you really start understanding what you really want. Like I said, you have to create your own light, your own way. All I'm giving you is a roadmap. Next slide, please. I want to give everybody a blank piece of paper, because these workshops, I'm here to really help people. I really want to help people. So, on this sheet of paper, I want you to make 3 separate columns. This is how I can take someone that I know nothing about. I don't know what they do. I don't know what skills they have. This is how you start finding out what you want to do. I want you to make 3 separate columns. One column is skill, one column is your hobbies, and one column is your passions. I want you to write 3 skills that you have. A skill is something that you've done in your life that you have been paid to do. Your jobs, whatever jobs you've done, whatever jobs those are, right? Give me 3 jobs. In the next column, I want you to write down 3 hobbies. Things that you get paid sometimes to do, but it's really not something that you do every day. And then in the last column, I want you to write down your passions. Something that you really want to do, you want to learn how to do, but just haven't did it yet. You want 3 in each column. Okay. Now that you have your skills, hobbies, and passions wrote down, is there a market for what you're trying to do? Is anyone literally getting paid to do what you're doing? Those skills, hobbies, or passions. Is there someone already getting paid for what you're doing? Is 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 someone already, is there a market for it? Because if you don't have a market for it, it's not going to work. I'm going to just be honest with you. A lot of things that we want to start and we think is good are actually trash because we don't plan it out. Like I said before, the things that I say is of my own volition. Now, this is no cap because I think some of the things that we really need to stop being coddled, because that is one of the issues that we have in business these days, and kids starting their own businesses. They just don't understand what it takes. So is there a market for that? Yes or no? If there is a market for that, whatever skill, hobby, or passion that you have, if it's a market for it, what would that look like if you was to do it? You need to write that down. I'll give you a couple minutes. How you doing? Can someone give her a piece of paper? You got 5 minutes. I want you guys to really write this stuff down. What we're doing is I'm explaining to people that I could take someone that their skills, their hobbies, their passions, and I'll show you how to monetize that on the side for yourself while you're working at your 9-to-5 job. On that white piece of paper, write down 3 columns. One column is your skill, one column is your hobby, and one column is your passion. Put 3, a skill is something that you've been paid for over the years, whatever it is. 3 skills. Then give me 3 hobbies, something that you do on the side. You sometimes get paid for it, maybe not, but you know how to do it. And a passion, something that you want to do. You might get paid for it already, you might not, but whatever passion that is. Once you have those 3 wrote down, you think to yourself, is there a market for that? Is someone already doing that? Is someone getting paid to do that? After that, what does that look like? If you was to do that for yourself, some people might not have enough time to do it while we're here, but if you were to do that for yourself, what would that look like? Literally, what's the process of what that would look like? If you're doing hair, what would that look like? Would you have to go, where would you get the hair from? How long each hair appointment is? Do you know anybody else that's doing it? In the corporate world, they call that market research. We just trying to figure out how much we need to charge people. So, what would that look like physically? What would that take for you to get that skill, hobby, or passion done? When you do that, it'll come in a little bit. You'll see where when you start thinking, when you start writing this stuff down, you start creating your outline of a business plan. Next slide. When I tell you that if you're not planning, you're planning to fail. You need a business plan. What does a business plan consist of? You have your executive summary, company description, your market analysis, your organizational and management, your service or your product, marketing and sales, financial projections, and optional is your funding request. The only time that you would need a funding request is if you're getting a loan or you're doing private equity with someone else. If you guys basically trying to get a loan, you would need a funding request. When I just ask you your skill, hobby, or passion, I ask you what would that look like? That's why I had you write that down. What would that look like for you? What would that look like for you? That will go basically in your company summary, your executive summary. I mean, your company description and your executive summary. The company description is basically whatever your name is, what services you provide. The market analysis is when I asked you, is anyone getting paid to do exactly what you're doing? That is the market analysis. It's a little bit deeper than that. I go into detail about all of these topics in my book. That's why I named it Starting and Thriving in Business, because it really helps you start on a good foot. Your organizational and management, how is this organized? Like I said, policies, processes, and procedures, systems. How is it organized? Who is doing what? Is it just you? And if you're doing everything, what are you doing? What are the times that you are doing it? How are you paying? Are you hiring people? Are you doing all the work yourself? How is the organizational and the management laid out? You need to have this structure. Who's doing your paperwork? Who's filing all of your business receipts? Who's taking care? Who's doing all the administrative work? If you're doing all the labor, are you doing both? The service and product is basically explaining in detail what you're doing. Is it a service? What service are you providing? If it's a product, what are you selling? A lot of times in business, especially these days, if you're doing a service, you also want to have a product because it ups your ROI. This is what I've realized. Prime example. You go to the hair salon, you get your hair done, they also have products. Now they're getting you for the product and the service. It's called upsells. You catch them, now you're getting money in the front end and the back end. Marketing and sales. You need marketing and sales. A lot of people can do a lot of good work, but if nobody knows that you can do good work, you have a product that is dead stock. You're not going to make any money with it. If no one knows what you're doing, you're not going to make any money because you need customers. Also, the way that we market these days, you have to understand that it needs to change. As much as we do not like the social media era, this era that we are in, that is where the marketing is going. If you're still taking out ads in the local newspaper, your click-through rate on something like that is probably really slim. I'm going to be honest with you. It's an outdated model. We have to be able to change with the times. And right now, everything is online. That's why marketing, when you see on Facebook and Instagram, these 26, 27-year-old kids are really making $100,000, $200,000, $1 million a year because they have a high-value skill, which is marketing and sales. That's what they do. They bring in customers for companies. When you're doing, you have to be able to market. You have to know what your market is. If you don't know what your market is, how do you know what to price your product? A lot of us price our product to our own pockets, which that is a negative. Do not do that. You won't make as much money as you need to make, to be honest. Don't price to your own product. Let me tell you exactly what we do, because like I said, I've been out here over 10 years. You'll take the cost of whatever it takes to make that product or do that service, when the labor, all of that stuff, and you might throw on another 10, 15% on top of that, thinking that, oh, that's my overhead. That's my chunk. But really, you're selling yourself short. You're losing. 95% of the time, you doing that model, you will lose. You need to change from a price-based model to a value-based model. The reason why I say a value-based model is because the consistency of you getting money from out of that customer, it stretches longer. It's cheaper for you to keep a customer than for you to get a new customer. You will also, the LTV on that customer is actually better because now, like you said, you go get your hair done, you get your products. You might not even have to get your hair done no more, but you still want the same products. You might go to that same person. So know who you're marketing to. There's no sense of you marketing if you selling senior insurance. Why are you at college campuses? It doesn't make any sense. You ain't got no AARP members there. Let's talk about the types of business structures. Now that you know what the business plan consists of, like I told you, you have a rough outline of what you want to do. Next slide, please. Let's talk about the business structures. You have the DBA, doing business as, an LLC, a S Corp, a C Corp, and an incorporated. If you're just starting out, if you never did business before, or if you've never actually tried to sell a product or service for yourself, I'm going to be honest with you, everything under C Corp and incorporated, you really don't need that because you get double taxed. You're not making enough money for that. But these are the business structures that you would need. DBA, doing business as, you're basically getting paid with just your name. You can actually go, they're writing the checks to, my name is Levy Troop, so it's Levy Troop. You're doing business as Levy Troop Consulting. The LLC, and each one of these has its own pros and cons. I go into detail about it in my book. Each one of these has its own pros and cons. LLC, limited liability company. It gives you a little bit more security than just a DBA, but it's not as secure as an incorporation. Like I said, each one of these has its own pros and cons with it. I go into detail about it in my book. Like I said, I don't have that much time today. Next slide. I want to talk to you about what I like. It's a project management term. It's called triple constraints. This will help us in business and in life, be honest with you. This action plan. Who, what, when, how. When I say policies, the policy itself, when I say policies, is the how. The process is the what. The what is the workflow. The procedures is how you're getting it done. The triple constraints it's cost, scope, and time. Next slide, please. Like I said, that action plan, who, what, when, and how. That will help you with your business plan. You can go to the next slide. All right, this is the triple triad. This is cost, scope, and time, right? The scope is whatever you're doing. This is a per system basis, a per job basis. The scope is whatever you're doing. You need to take whatever you're doing and figure out how much time it's going to take for you to do that. that would dictate how much you need, how much it's going to cost you. That's the cost of the product, plus the cost of your time, plus the cost of your labor burden. The most people, especially in construction, if you don't know what your labor burden is, you're losing, which is going to equal the quality of what you're doing. In layman's terms, let me make it a little bit simpler. You'll go to the next slide. You have something that is low cost. You have low cost, it's done quickly, and high quality in anything that we do, right? If you want something cheap and high quality, a lot of times people, it's going to be a low priority. Yeah, it's good quality, but you're not paying nobody that much, or they're not paying you that much. It's not really high on your priority list. Let's be honest. If you want something cheap and quick, it's probably going to be low quality. Some like fast food. If you want something fast and good, you're going to have to pay for it. It's going to be expensive. That leads me into the next slide, something I call the triple triad, which is cost, knowledge, and your time. Everything that's in that book, everything, all of these workshops that I'm going to do, this is the start of one, the start of the series, this knowledge is readily available to all of us, everyone, if you're willing to go and get it for yourself. Everything that I've done over this decade in business is what I'm trying to give back. I want to give value to you guys to help you avoid those pitfalls that I did, because I took a lot of L's. And if I can help you avoid that, that's where I want to add value to your life. The triple triad is cost, time, and knowledge. If you want to go and get the knowledge, knowledge for yourself, who knows how long it's going to take you? Might take you a month, might take you a year. If you don't want to pay nothing for the knowledge, I have spent so much money on leadership courses, on weekend seminars, thousands. All of them, you're not paying just for the seminar. You're paying to be in the room with other like-minded individuals. That's what you're paying for. You're paying to cut the time down on the knowledge that you're gaining to propel you. You can go and don't pay. I don't care what industry that you're in. I would suggest you go and get a mentor. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care. It cuts your time down tremendously. Get a mentor, whether it's me, whether you pay someone else. I do not care. Get a mentor, because it cuts the time to the knowledge down tremendously to help you propel you to do what you want to do faster. If you don't want to be in the game 5, 6, 7 years, still bumping your head, you probably could have cut that time in half if you would have got you a mentor. If you don't want to spend all the time gathering the information yourself, going to the library, going to SBA, digging through YouTube videos, digging through Google, you need to pay someone. If you really want to do it, you need to pay someone to do that. Else you're never going to do it at all. That's what I like to call the triple triad. It's time, knowledge, and cost. You're going to have to do one of them. You're going to have to do one of them in order for you to get the information. And I would suggest, me personally, like I went through the time and the knowledge going to and not paying anybody and getting the knowledge for myself. I went that route. But I also figured out about let me give you an example. I was in Orlando, Florida. I was building out of Ace Hardware. I was by myself. I was with a crew of 3 people. The company that hired me to build this Ace Hardware, all of them, it was a brand new store. They were all going to a conference. As we're working through the day, I'm hearing them all talk about this conference. And so I started looking it up. It was $5,000 to go there. Jesus. Ugh. But I paid it. I went to the conference. Not only did me just going to that conference, as the day were going along, I told them, hey, I got to leave. I got to go to the conference. They didn't even know that I heard them talking about it. I went on. I reserved my ticket. I went to I was telling, hey, I got to go get dressed. I'm going to this conference. They're looking at me crazy. It was like, oh, you're going to that too? I was like, yeah. Now they're looking at me different. Now they know I'm not just a worker. I go to the conference. The people that I met at this conference, the conversations that I had at this conference, that $5,000, I turned over 400% from that $5,000 because I didn't think short term. People want short term. We're so instant gratification these days. We cannot be short-sighted. The people, really successful people, wealthy people, they are long-term, goal-oriented. They don't think short-sighted. It's the same thing as you going into buying some stock, and then if the stock fall, you so panicky, and now you want to sell it off. They don't sell it off, they hold it because it's a long-term investment. And that's another thing that we need to stop doing. We need to saying that we can't save, we can't get into the stock market. Those are things that we need to do. We need to get into the stock market in order for us to really start fixing our financial situation. It's the knowledge is there. The roadmap is there. It's the fact that we don't want to really buckle down and do what we need to do it. You can't say that the excuse is, oh, I don't know nothing about stock, but I guarantee you know something that you go into Walmart every day. They're doing okay. You know you can go get you some Walmart stock. You know that a lot of us are walking around with Apple phones. A lot of us are walking around with Samsung phones. We got TVs in our house. A lot of them are Samsung. We know those type of companies. You don't need to know a lot these days for stocks. You can go on Cash App and buy Bitcoin. You can go on Robinhood and get stocks, even if it's nothing but $5 a week. It's putting something back for the future. Creating your own life is a strategic, proven strategy that is readily available to all of us. I find that I add value to the people that really wants to start and grow into business. Once you get to the 10 million and under mark, you're really into another category. I find that I add value with anybody that's making 10 million or less with systems, processes, policies, and procedures. I help you learn how to create to really maximize your time to get the most out of what you want to do. And that's really the end of this portion of the seminar. Like I said, a lot of those topics that were in there are in my book that I go into detail about, but I want to talk to you, go into a little bit more detail about a couple of things. Like I said, my ebook is out. I have 2 of them that's out now. I have one that comes out every month. They're free. I just give me your name and email. I send it right to you. The ebooks are free. I do have consultation services that I do offer. Write down your name and email. We can get on a free call. We can talk about, because it needs to be specific for you. So you can get my contact information, get in contact with me. But I want to say this before I get out of here. We need to get out of our own way. There are certain things that you're going to have to change. You're going to have to face for yourself, for you to be successful, for you to define what success means to you. Not to me, not to your mom, not to your kids, not to your husband, not to your wife, for you. You need to define what success means for you. And go at it. Creating your own light is really getting you out of the shadow of living someone else's light. Get out of their shadow. You're in the shadow. Create your own. Health, wealth, and knowledge. These are inequalities that are happening. As I speak, the gap is getting bigger. The reason the gap is getting bigger because the knowledge, it's not like the knowledge is in these books. The knowledge is right here readily available in front of us, but we cherish the pictures. We cherish the Instagram. We cherish the Facebook posts. Instead of being consumers or customers, we need to start being consumers. We need to start putting the content out for ourselves. We need to start fixing our who wants to live check to check? I know I don't. That is hard. And when you're starting out business, if you're thinking that when you start your business, your home life will not change, you are crazy, because it will. Everything changes. It's hard. But if you have a plan, you'll be able to get through it. And when heartaches come up, when things in your life come up, you'll be able to maneuver. And when you set your goals, set big goals. Don't let somebody else's fear tell you what you can't do. Don't let somebody else project their fear of what they can't do on you. Get away from that negative energy. You want to be positive. Stop thinking that if somebody is against us and we need to do something about it and fix it for ourselves, because nobody's going to fix it for you. Start investing into stocks, bonds. It's real easy these days. Even if you don't know anything about it, do it. It's beneficial for the long haul. Get out of this short-minded mindset and really start planning for the future. If you don't have a plan, you don't know where you're going. You just drive in the car until your gas run out. And now you're on the side of the road somewhere and you don't even know what to do. That is not what I want from you. I want you to be better than Levy when he started. I want you to be more consistent. Be dedicated. Get a control of your time. Keep a journal. Keep these things. In the next workshop, I'm going to start building on more of these topics. But I appreciate everybody that came out today. If you want any information about the other services that I offer, and I help you with business plans, organizational structures. I literally can walk into a business and take whatever you're doing, get your back office in order, get it structured so you can be organized to set yourself out on a good path moving forward. Thanks, everybody, for coming. You have a great day.